All right, in this video, we are going to work another problem related to assignment 4. The problem says the string variable email address represents an email address such as whatever at usg.edu. Write a method process email address string email address that returns a string containing the domain name, which is the part after the at sign, followed by the username. That's the part before the at sign. For example, the method call process email address, whatever at usg.edu, should return usg.edu, comma, space, whatever. All right, so I'm going to add a new method. For right now, all of our methods are public and static. And, or at least for this assignment, just the easiest thing is to make them public and static. So, and we need to decide on the return type, right? What should the output from this method be? And they tell you, right, that the method should return a string, right? So this is going to be the string type. And then they tell us they want the name right up here. It's exactly this stuff here for the name and the parameter list. Okay. All right, so then what we're going to do, right, the email address will come in here into this variable, right? And so what we would do is, assuming, we're just going to assume that it's fine, that it's an actual email address. And what we would do then is what we need to do, excuse me. What we need to do is to pick out where the at symbol is. We need to know that. And so the easiest thing to do there would be to use index of. So we would do email address dot index of, and then the at symbol. Like so. Okay. And then I'm going to return something out of here. You can see I have an error, right? And it's probably because my my method is not returning anything. I told Java, hey, the output is going to be a string, right? And then I didn't have a return value, and so Java was worrying about, hey, your method is returning nothing. Okay. So that took care of that error right there. And so just to show you what this thing looks like, when I run this, it's going to return the string not printed out, right? It's going to send the string back to here. So what I need to do is, if I want to see the results, I need to, in case the method call in a system.out.println statement, so I can see the result of it. And right now, when I run it, it's not going to return anything because I'm just returning this empty string in here. What I want to do for right now, just to show you, right, in case you're confused about what this line 24 is doing, I'm just going to print it out so you can see what number is there. You can see it's an 8, right? And so that's the index of where the at sign is in this character right here. So you can see that's 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, right? So the at sign is at index 8 in the string, okay? Remember, it starts at index 0, 1, 2, and so on and so forth. So that 8 is telling us where the at sign is located. And then all we need to do is to now start pulling out those parts of the string that we want. So the username, right, is the part before the at sign. And we're going to use substring to pull out those parts of the string. We're going to start at the very beginning, right? So you have to tell substring where to start. So I'm starting here at index 0, and I'm going all the way to index 8. Again, you might think, hey, that's going to pull off the @ sign, which I don't want, right? According to the problem, right, the string that gets returned is has no @ sign in it. So, but for whatever reason, substring won't take the character that's at the last index that you give it. If you give it 2 indices, right, 2 indexes, it will only take up to right before that. Okay. All right. So just to show you that, right, what is going on there, let's run it and print that out. So we should see whatever down here. All right, and that is the part, right? So this line right here is pulling off everything starting from the very beginning, right, up until we get to the @ sign. Okay, so that's the username. And then the domain name, again, we're going to use substring to pull out that part of the string that we want. All right, and so where we want to start at is wherever one more, right, than where, man. Whoa. There we go. Where we want to start at it is one more than where the @ sign is located. So for this, we want to pull off everything after the @ sign. So for the starting index, we can't start where the @ sign is at exactly. We need to start one bigger than that, right? So start here. All right, and that should be pulling off the domain. Okay, and so you can see it's pulling off that part there. All right, so we have all the parts that we need. And now it's just a matter of putting them back together. All right, so I don't really need this line anymore because it's this method is just supposed to return it. Usually, you know, it's one of two ways, not always, right? But for a lot of this, you're either returning something out of here, in which case the most likely thing is that you wouldn't want this method to do any printing. This is just sort of processing stuff. But some of the problems, like this print thirds one, it specifically asked us to print some stuff. So in that case, we probably, you know, we would use void as the return type. So, all right, so I'm going to get rid of that print statement. That was just to kind of illustrate what was going on. And now what I need to do is to put this stuff back together. And you can do that however you want. And so we want, let's see, we want the domain name first, right? So now we're just kind of putting those pieces back together. So we put the domain name, and then it looks like we want a comma and a space, and then the username, like this. And that should get us this result right here. Right, and so now what we really want to return is not the empty string, but this string that we just processed. All right, so let's see if that works. Looks pretty good, right? It's giving us what we want. So let's change this to something else. And here we just want to verify that, you know, it works no matter what the email address is, as long as there's an @ sign in there. All right, so it's working. And you know, on these assignments, you don't have to worry about every single edge case. You know, like if it didn't have an @ sign in there, it's going to, you know, give you some weird result that's not what you want. But you know, on this assignment, don't worry about that. Obviously, right, if you had to do this for your work or something like this, and then you'd want to, you know, address, you know, what would you do if there was no @ sign in there. So But that would depend on, on some bigger context that we don't have in this problem. Okay, so that's it.